like to keep my relationship opinions to myself or off the internet, but I have tea. So you see that period where you're getting to know a man, probably talking stage, relationship, whatsoever. It's important to find out his opinion on popular limiting beliefs about men. It's important to know his stance on what manhood is all about. And this is also more of how strong his identity is. What has formed his knowledge of who he is as a man? Is it based on what he saw on social media, based on what he saw from his father, based on what he heard from male figures around him? Because the mental quality of the man you marry will determine the mental quality of your sons or your children in general. I was talking to a guy and he said something like, men always do things for validation. I paused. I mean, which one is men always do things for validation? In my head, I'm like, me, I can marry this one. Let's not excuse bad behavior. Doing things for validation is not a good thing. It shows lack of security, low self-esteem in your own self. It's like a worm on a fish's hook. He's chasing it about. And so when you can't give him validation as his wife, he'll seek validation elsewhere. Let's bring this to fatherhood. My brother, he's a teenager. He's on that transition from boyhood to manhood. So on some days he's crying, he's doing like a boy. Some days he's trying to man up. That can actually be a very volatile stage in a young boy's life. Now just imagine my son going through this stage of identity crisis and comes to you as a father and, oh daddy, I'm having this and da. And then the husband goes, oh, don't worry son, men do things for validation. Or don't worry son, it's how men do. Oh, you're a man, that's how we do. And other limiting beliefs. I don't want a man who is giving my son that kind of advice or that kind of formative opinion on what manhood should be about. If you're a woman and you know you want to raise a man of God, you need to marry a man of God, because an apple does not fall far from a tree. Your sons will look after the man you marry, and that is both in mindset as well. So when we generalize things like, oh, men are polygamous in nature, men do things for validation, men have ego, men this, men that, we are normalizing behaviors that are not right. Okay, things that they ought to work on and get better in. They want to make sure that his belief on manhood is the way God intended it to be, and that is modeled in Christ. My Jesus does not do things for validation. My Jesus does not have ego. All of these things, just see it in Christ. It's not there. At the end of the day, when you marry a consecrated, emotion submitted, flesh and self-denied, spirit-led man, I mean, I don't want to say from experience because I've not experienced it before, but when I close my eyes and I envision a future with that kind of man, it's always worth it.